What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica off the Classy Climb blog. We're going to do a quick one tonight, talking about crappy economy. Not necessarily. It depends on where you're at in the brackets, and it depends on your career, your city, your state. You know, if you're in New Jersey or Ohio or Pennsylvania, you may be having some rough times. If you're in Texas or the Southeast, maybe a booming industry for you. So we're going to share some of the articles over here, share the screen and let you guys see it because I just think it's important to discuss. So definitely, if you have any comments, just throw them in the question block. I will be looking over here at the screen and checking out your questions. So hold on a second. Let me get over there. Make sure we got that set up. And I brought this got brought to my attention by Hassan. He posted on there, somebody is always posting on his page about jobs or just over broke. And that's not true. He knows many friends who make six figures. And I was going to say, agree with him that, yeah, I live in Austin, Texas, and there's lots of people who have really healthy, vibrant careers in this city. And some of the people that may be talking about are people who are maybe in a job situation where it's $10 an hour, $12, $15, $20. Those people may not, may share the view of a job is just over broke. But a lot of people who are making $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year, they're not feeling that same pressure, and they know that they have more options. So we're going to jump over, and I'm going to share this first article that I thought of when people were talking about this in the group. Let's see here. All right, and so this is actually a really good one, I thought, because it just shows there's opportunity all over this economy. So the article is from Washington Post. It's about minorities and Americans without college degrees show the greatest gains in wealth since 2013. Now, why do you think this is? I think this is, as I read the article, as I understand it, is a lot of these people are starting from a lower point, a lower economic point. And so they're more willing, as I'm reading the article, which I invite you to go read it at Washington Post, they're willing to kind of take any job, and they're also working the 4 to 6 years that many people are in college, getting those same degrees. They're consistently working. And if you know anything about stats, Ben Shapiro will always love sharing the stat. If you don't have a kid out of wedlock and you work a job for 1 full year, the chances and the numbers and the stats for you being in poverty are very, very low. So a lot of these Americans that are working 3, 4, 5, 6 years, your same friend from high school is in college, working part-time or not working at all, they're able to do what? Buy cars, buy houses. You know, the numbers they're taking on the survey show most of them are, home ownership, things like that. So just as you're reading down, people are saying, oh no, what about all these people who got hurt with the last recession? But really, a lot of the people they're showing in this article that got hurt with the last recession were their net worth and also their 401ks. So these people right here who don't have college degrees, have been consistently working, have saw giant improvements in their economy. So as you go down, you keep scrolling through the article, you get down here about to here. So basically every slice of young, old, rich, poor, black, whoever, they saw their incomes grow, with the value of stocks, homes, and other assets over the past 3 years. So it was showing that people who were able to consistently keep a job, get a home, and still invest had a great recovery. So I just thought this was really poignant because people kept saying, but people with college degrees do so much better. You have to realize you're taking time out of your life, and you're going to be taking 4 to 6 years out of your life in school, while a lot of these people are having trades, went to community college, different things. It just says without a college degree. It doesn't say without certifications. It doesn't say without community college. It doesn't say any of those things. It just says without a degree. And we all know there's several people in management as far as fast food and retail. Chipotle is paying managers $90,000 a year, which is crazy to me. Chick-fil-A is paying managers $70,000 to $80,000 a year, depending on your marketplace and your city you're in. So there's opportunities in the market, not just in food, not just in retail, but also in high sales careers. People who've been selling cars the past 4 years have probably raked in boatloads of money. So I just liked this article. I thought it was really great. You guys can check it all out for talking about jobs, talking about midterm elections, why some people got elected and some didn't. Also, it even mentions, with these upcoming storms, a lot of people in the construction fields are going to make money for the next 3 or 4 years, whether it's repairing houses, people who are plumbers, electricians, welders. Those people are going to have a significant boost in income for at least the next 3 years in Houston, Florida, and also parts of the going towards Virginia. There's a lot of growth in Washington, D.C. as far as just consistent growth. So we're going to kick it over here to this article. Let's see if it'll let us open it up. And let me double check and see who's here right now. General knowledge, hi. Tim Fraser, Tim in California house. Tim knows it. Tim is in a very expensive marketplace. California is not cheap, but California is also paying people high income jobs. I watched a thing on how in the tech world, there were cafeteria workers making $100,000 a year. And it was so crazy because they were saying it was not enough for them to live in that same area and drive to Facebook and work at Facebook and Google. It was like a couple different janitors and cafeteria ladies. But imagine that. Imagine being a janitor or a cafeteria lady making $100,000 a year. You know, it's possible. There's people out there. But what happens when they live in such expensive markets, right? It's pretty tough. So I don't know how to say your name, but it says calls need. I don't know. I've made more money in this year than I have in the last 4 years. That's good. Share your job if you can, or if you're in sales. And Toma Harris, hello. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go on down here to this article, and it shows the real reason Americans feel it's so bad. I wish you'd get rid of this ad out of the way so I can show you guys. All right. Let's see. Let's get it down here. All right. So a lot of people in this article we're talking about 3 out of 4 adults think it's harder to get ahead than previous generations. You know, according to the Allstate survey, you know, 30-point margin. People thought more Americans thought their situation would improve than deteriorate, right? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? I see the green going. Let me know if you can hear me on this now. Let me know if it's working. I think we just had a glitch with the internet. So, okay. So essentially, I just said Call Sneeze had an appliance installation and repair company. So people got to realize right now, if you can repair things, that's a really great market. Why is that? I hate to say it. Less people are married. Less men know how to fix things. A lot of older people in our economy. And those things all sound pessimistic, but they're a great opportunity if you're a guy who can. If you're a guy who's a handyman, the last 3 handyman folks I know that I've tried to get to paint for us while we've been busy, they've been actually swamped. Why? Because they go over a lot of these tech guys' houses and they don't know how to fix anything. They're just a computer guy. They're a very nice guy, but a computer guy. And something breaks in his house, he doesn't know how to fix it. So that's one. And number 2, they have a lot of single ladies. They also have a lot of older couples where they try to go repair things at their house for them, just things they can't reach. I mean, I've told you guys this. Me and Andrew, we did a fence repair for somebody, and then they called us to come help them. And it wasn't even fence related. It wasn't painting related. It was just they're an elderly couple, and they couldn't reach something on the side of their house. They needed us to get it off. So we just kindly went back over there and helped them. So it's a big marketplace for people who can repair things and people who can fix things. All right, so thank you guys for letting me know you can hear the sound. Yeah, when I share the screen, sometimes it gets a little funky. So we're gonna try one more time to share the screen. And you guys just keep me posted if the sound goes back out. Okay, so this one is also talking about, this is also from the Washington Post. It's back in March, but it just talks about how Americans aren't going out to eat. What's going on, right? And it's talking about how the restaurants kind of energy is getting squeezed, and honestly, some of the highest part of it was people going bartenders and waitressing. Now, but here's the other part of this. It talks about United States declining fertility and shrinking workforce. I'll just give you an example. My grandma was a part of 14. Then my mom is a set of 6. It used to be 7. My grandma lost one of her children, died young. I know a lot of African-American people in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, who came from 8-person families in my mom's generation, but now they may have a couple of family members who have no children, or they'll have 1 or 2. And honestly, this is a part of like single momhood, where sometimes if they have a kid at 20 and then they don't get married or get another boyfriend until many years later, they might not have a second kid. They might just have that one kid from when they're young. And so I've seen that a lot with a lot of young ladies. But this is, should be able to show it on here, but it also showed white women under 35. Only half of the white women under 35 even have kids, which is crazy, right? Because people would think, oh, I'm on Instagram all day, everybody has kids or everybody got married, and that's just not true. And so it talks about we have an aging population, and people just don't realize that a lot, especially South Carolina, it's not in this article, but South Carolina needs like 10x the people to do elderly care, dustpans, tourism, and they have a big hole in their economy in South Carolina. Many people are leaving because they just don't want to do tourism and they don't want to work in healthcare. So this is a worldwide trend. And you know, the thing is, if you check out Japan, Japan had like a dead 10 years where it was just like the economy was going, they were popular, certain cars are popular, but overall, just dead economy. And now in Japan, they had this joke on this. A couple preachers were putting newspaper articles out for young men because they had women in their audiences. They had nobody to marry them. These 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds. And the thing common in Japan right now is 60 and 70-year-olds taking care of 90-year-olds in these rest homes. So what happens to this to those groups of people as they get older? So this is one of the things, you know, economists have been concerned about, is you just have people leaving these rural areas. You know, he says you have to have robots. You need engineers. You need better software, because if not, what happens to us? And where do we get a bulk of our engineers from? India, China, foreign students. Where do we get the bulk of people who can work on robots? Foreign locations. And so that's why the U.S. economy is kind of nervous about that. So this is Zero Hedge. Not everybody's a fan of Zero Hedge. Some people think they're a little extreme. I like what they talk about. I like how they kind of just go where the facts are. So I'm waiting on the screen to come up. It might not. Let's see if it'll act right. Okay, I think it did. I think it's coming up. All right, here we go. So sometimes they're a little bit more negative than people like. So, but I like sharing them. I think they're good. All right. So here we go. Here's the top 11 facts to prove the U.S. economy in 2017 is in far worse shape than in 2016. Now, I've told you about this. If you watched this channel about 3 years ago, I talked about all these stores getting ready to close, and people were like, yeah, whatever, Erica. But here we are. Number one, over 8,000 retail stores will close in 2017. 1,000 closed in 2008. So it's almost like we're having a recession, but no one's talking about it, and it's not really being acknowledged. And many people say, well, Erica, Amazon's doing all this. No, 90% of all things are bought offline. Only 10% are. And so even though people are, Erica, you don't understand, you know, Amazon's killing it. Really, it's killing a sliver, but 90% of things are still bought offline. So again, the number of people, retailers filing for bankruptcy went up. 49 million square feet of retail space has closed down in the United States. So you ever see the website Dead Malls? There's a website called Dead Malls. There's a website called, oh God, all kind of stuff where it's just empty places, abandoned places where sometimes towns are giving away land and houses because there's nobody there. They can't get people to stay there. So my thing is, I've always told you guys on this channel, if you can work from home and you want a bigger plot of land and in a small town life, and you can do all your stuff from the internet, you can clean up in some of these smaller towns because you would be the biggest thing in that town. Or you could just move to a rural-ish area. There's a YouTube channel that shows all these people returning to farming, but small level farming. And I want to do a video on that, but I didn't have time to pull it up in this one. All right, so again, number 5, we talked about this before, restaurants hitting really tough. All right, restaurant traffic is dropping. Like even with some of the stuff you see when we talk about in the last video, DoorDash, Uber Eats, that's people who could be eating in the restaurant, just deciding to stay at home and watch Netflix or sit in their underwear, and you just deliver it to their door. So that's going to hit some places. The worst hit was New Jersey and New York region, where sales went down 4% and foot traffic went down 6%. All right, in March, U.S. factory output declined at its fastest pace in 2 years. And a lot of people don't think that, oh, Texas is like a giant engine. That'll never happen to Texas. Well, Dallas actually did get a hit because Dallas has a huge manufacturing sector. And so a lot of people you see in Dallas work in factories, but love Dallas, you know. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I don't like this one, but I'll share it because I just don't like the number because I feel a lot of people are underreporting themselves, if that means anything to you. So it says not a single person is employed in nearly 1 out of every five families. Now, what does that mean? That means, you know, let's say dad was the only person working and then dad loses his job, so the whole house looks like it doesn't work. But mom could sell things online, mom could do yard sales, mom could do different little activities with her neighborhood people and don't report it, right? We've all seen that. We've all seen people do stuff like that. Or, you know, I know this elderly lady who had her son, he was a convicted felon living there, and he cut grass all week long. Did he report it? No, which was crazy. But that's why when I read that stat, you know, no one's employed, I always take it under the context of possibly a married couple or possibly, you know, people working under the table. All right, let's see. Automakers had bad sales in March. Now, the reason I know automakers had a bad sale in March because Ford all of a sudden came out and said, we're going to do like no money down. You know, we're going to do all these tricks, you know, all this weird stuff to get people in. And then when the hurricane came, Ford is like, we'll replace everybody's car. How? That means you're just taking a loss and doing some number magic on thousands of cars, if not millions, right? So 500,000 cars were taken out in Houston. I don't even know how about Florida. All right, so then it says number 11, if you guys can see it, U.S. consumers are maxed out, right? 6 out of 10 maxed out, right? So it's a couple indicators on here I thought were very important. Again, they're kind of negative here at Zero Hedge, but they just show numbers. So I'm going to kick over to probably the last one. And then I'm going to take some questions from you guys. Oh, wait, I've got a thing I was going to show you guys if I can get over to it. Let's see. Is this the one I think I might want to share? Yeah, this one's kind of, it's talking about people spending money. Wages are rising, but you got to realize, where are wages rising? They're rising for people who, again, like I said, are in tech or in healthcare. Now, here it is. Consumers, business investment on equipment was down. Residential investment was down. you know, all that stuff is down. You know, Lowe's and Home Depot, they took a hit. But I know they got to bounce back after the hurricane. I know that. So just different things I wanted to share with you guys. Alan Jackson. What about Nissan's 100,000 10-year guarantee? Is that not desperation? That is desperation, and it's a way to get. But who is that aimed at? That's aimed at the couple who has a paid off little old car, and they thinking, oh my God, I can go get a Nissan and get all this guarantee because I really don't have money to spend anyway. So, but I understand it. But okay, so I'm gonna hop over if it'll let me. Here, this page I put up to earlier. Hold on a second. Let's see here if it'll let me share it. Because a lot of people will say, well, Erica, you know, how do you thrive in the next set of years? And I'm like, easy. You gotta take the numbers and look at them. So, all right. So let me know if you guys can see this. Hopefully you can. 2 columns here. We've got the 28,000 to 50,000 annual salary. Why did I put that up there? Because the average American household, again, listen to the word household, has $50,000. Now, what does that mean? That means 2 people in that house are making 28, 32. And I saw this being an apartment manager and in working in the apartment industry, when people would fill their application and you get their tax returns or you get their job, it took both of them being there to get into the apartment sometimes. And that wasn't uncommon. So again, and on the right side of the column, we have 80,000 to 150,000 a year. Now, why do we say that? There's people in tech, there's people in different, different salaries. You know, you could be a master salesman and make that. Also, you could be a married couple and make that. But here's the kicker. Let me see if I can make it bigger so you guys can see it. I want you to make sure you can see it well. Okay, how about that? I think that's better. If it's not better. All right, so immediately I take 30,000 off the top. Whenever some guy's trying to impress me saying he makes 100,000 a year, I go, in my mind, 30% off the top, you're really making 60. Right? And not to knock the person, but just in honest, if they're really honest about their income and numbers, you're taking 30% right off the top. Now, some places it's 50%. Now, many people say, well, Erica, you're in Texas and they don't have income tax and they don't do state this and that. And I go, that's bullcrap. We have toll roads. The property tax here is more than every other state. Google it. Texas property taxes are on average $3,000+ when the average American property tax is like $2,000. So a lot of people get to Texas and think, Erica, I'm going to be balling. And I'm like, the money comes in other places, sales tax and whatnot. Okay, so 60%. Now, why do I put 10% up there? But 10% is what we're all supposed to save. But what does, I want to give you guys this. What does the average American save every month? Put your numbers in the column. Put your numbers below. What does the average American save every single month? Put the number down. And whoever gets the number right, I don't know, we're going to do a free conversation or a phone call or something. I don't know. Just put it in put it down below. What does the average American save, number-wise, every single month? And that's the question of today. And if you take too long, I know you guys are Googling it. All right, so, but it's a particular number, and so that's how I know if you get it wrong, because Google has it wrong. All right, so again, so 10% is what you're supposed to save a month. But how many people are saving $2,800 a year, $5,000 a year? How many people are saving $8,000 on the big side? Now, I told you guys I had a client who they make $80,000, her and her husband. But what happened is they just had no money at the end of the month. Every month they were running low on money. So we put them on the Digit app. And the Digit app is similar to Acorn, but different. Acorn, every time you swipe your debit card, the excess change goes over. With the Digit app, each person, it takes a certain amount out every single day, right? Every single day it takes a certain amount out. So when it does that, it just adds it up. And in every pay period, she put an extra money away. She put a certain amount. Well, guess what happened at the end of the month? She ended up saving literally $1,000. And she almost fainted. She literally almost fainted because she was like, I've never, and she makes, I think, closer to $8,900 a month. Just her, not her husband, just her was able to save $1,000 with the Digit app. It's awesome. It's super awesome. Like, how many people do you know save $1,000? Not many. And then another client saved 800. She makes around the same as the lady I'm talking about, but she saved 800 a month. She's like, never have I thought of taking $800 right off the top and saving it. Really crazy. So, and so these are the numbers that you're supposed to save. But imagine living off 60% of your income. How many people are living off 60% of their income? Now, these are just the numbers if you were to live off 60. Now, if you're making 100K a year and you're living off 90, you're still doing good. If you're over here making 50,000, you live on 60, yeah, it's a little tight, baby. It's tight. So you have to really think about that, because I tell people, if you only make 35 a year, you can't afford a new car, bro. You make 2,400 or 2,800 a month. Then you talk about rent. Then you talk about other stuff. Time you pay for car insurance and maintenance, you're pulling out about $1,000. So to answer the question, I see DM Brown put 50, Linda Anderson put 100, Alan Jackson put 0, and Jackie Breton put 0. Linda, I'm gonna give it to you because you're the closest. So message me after this, or I'll just message me after this. Hit the message button, and I'll connect with you for like a 10-minute call or something like that. But Linda Anderson put 100, but really it's the number they claim is 200 a month. Now, where do they get this 200 a month from? They're getting it out of the average of people doing 401k and different saving apps. But overall, they say it's 200 a month, but I highly doubt it, because if you think about it, a lot of people are spending, 76% of people are going paycheck to paycheck. So what does that mean? That means they don't got no money. So I always think it's very interesting. They say it's 200 a month, but again, I'm gonna give it to Linda because she's closest. But yeah, further. Now, why do I stress about increasing your income? Now, look over the next 5 years, a person making $28,000 a year, you're gonna have $148,000. Over 10 years, they'll make 28, almost $2,800. That's just not a lot. Even the person making 50,000 in 10 years, they're gonna make $500,000. It's not a lot of money in comparison. If you look over on the right side of the column, where somebody is making in 10 years 1.5 million. You're talking about two totally different lifestyles. And when I talk about my church all the time because I love how they donate to certain projects. But you'll sit in the room with people and they're like, "Oh, it's such a struggle," and you're like, "Dude, you make 100,000+ a year. Stop complaining. Stop it. Like, there is no real struggle for you. It's in your head." But people like to pretend there's a struggle. So again, these are the basics of what I think you should be putting away, $100 to $400, but they should be getting anywhere from 12 to 25% interest. Now, how do we do that? If you've been watching this channel, we've talked about ladder income, we've talked about tax liens, we've talked about bank certs and bank CDs. We talked about several things to get you there. And tax liens is probably one of the not the surefire ways, but a really good way you can do it. Another one is Lending Club and prosper.com. On Friday, I'm going to be dropping some courses and some ebooks that have been just sitting in the computer and needed to be out. Because people were messaging me like, "Get that crap done." And it's kind of funny, but I will definitely get them done and dropped on Friday, because people keep asking me, and I'm like, here's these apps, and here are the percentage returns on money. But so down here, I thought this was important, and why I always talk about real estate, and because retirement used to be a three-legged stool. Pension from your company. You used to get this 401k they came up with in the 60s, and then you also got Social Security. What has happened? A lot of companies quit doing pensions. 401k saved them a lot of money. So now you got a two-legged stool. You got Social Security that you're gonna get at like 65. Not what you saved in your 401k. I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna sit here and go, "Yeah, that's the best two-legged stool you can come up with." A lot of the elderly people I meet, if they have money in stocks, they have it in dividend stocks. Prime example, if you know anything about Fayetteville Fort Bragg, they have a Kelly Springfield tire company that they just keep convincing every year to stay and not go overseas. There are people who retired off the dividend they get from Kelly Springfield tires. Like little old people, they just every year while they work there, they put more and more money into the stock so that they could go home. And when they retired, every month they got a check to their mailbox. That's why I call it mailbox money, because back in the day, a lot of people used to just let their dividend, instead of reinvesting it, come to their mailbox, right? Now, of course, you can get it straight transferred to your bank. But if you want to get it in your mailbox, you still can. It's actually pretty cool. I like using E-Trade to do that. But why do we talk about real estate on this channel so much? Because on the left-hand side, the person who is only making, under 50,000 a year, they still have the opportunity to invest. But they may be investing not with their own business, but maybe with some of the real estate lending sites you see out there, right? The reality shares, the crowdfunding sites, and we'll list all those in the books. You'll see them this Friday, because they need those higher returns. They need that 25%, that 10%, that 8 to 12% Tulsa Real Estate Fund, that Todd Capital. These people that are giving back really nice percent, they need those. And they'll come back in quarterly dividends for some people, and monthly dividends. But here's when you invest in real estate, and why I talk about $40,000 to $50,000 properties so much, is because you can find those properties everywhere. We've done countless videos on this channel where we go on realtor.com and look up a Fayetteville, look up a Tampa, Florida, look up the edges of Houston, Texas, and the edges of Dallas, Texas, and Denton, Texas, and edges of Nashville, Tennessee, and see these giant houses for 60 and 50,000 and 40,000. Might need an updated kitchen, maybe not. And they're renting for $850 to a little bit more, some of them. So imagine if you got, now if you're in the lower bracket, you're going to say, Erica, how am I going to get this money? Several ways. You can save $27 a day for a year. That gets you $10,000. Or you could start a business. You could get business lines of credit and you can use that. Let's say you don't like that option either. Number 3, you could refinance your house. Let's say you have a house in 2-3 years. You have just enough to get you some good equity out, and you put it on a rental property. So now you're talking about, let's say we're just going to average it at $850 a month. Now, why do I say 8,500 in the numbers up there? Because we're going to do it times 10 months. We're going to take the last 2 months off for insurance, maintenance, taxes, you name it. In 10 years, if that person followed that every 2 years, over 2 to 3 years, they took equity out and bought a rental, they'd have 3 to 5 properties. And they'd have this income at the bottom coming in extra a year. So additional 25,000 or additional 51,000. Who couldn't use that to kind of feel better? Because listen, in 10 years, many people will be 40 if you're watching this channel. In 10 years, some of y'all will be 30. In 10 years, some of y'all will be 50. Now, do you have a way to get an additional 25,000 to 50,000 into your back pocket in 10 years? Maybe through raises. Maybe you know something I don't. Maybe you work in a career where you know you're going to get an extra raise, that level. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be real estate properties. Now, on the flip side, the person with the higher income, they could do this strategy every single year. They just could. They could do this every year. And in 10 years, they would have, oh, I hate that I misspelled that. That's annoying down there. I have to fix that. It's irking me. Sorry. Anyway. Oh, now it wants to act crazy. The computer. Sorry. There we go. Anyway, so on the right-hand side, if they do that every year, they're talking about extra 85,000 a year. Now, just imagine if you do it, if you do 850 times 10 rental properties, that's additional $8,000 coming in your pocket a month. Now, you guys know when I talk about my family, I talk about the fact they moved around with military bases. A lot of military people you see, they'll buy the biggest house they can get with their VA loan, and then what happens when they move? They got to sell it because they can't afford to get another house or use their VA loan again without it. And that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. You have this great VA loan and it got you in a property, no money down. Just turn around and rent the property out and buy a lesser home at your next duty station. But see, people get comfortable and they want to live in these ridiculous sized houses every duty station. I'm an officer, so I'm going to live in the biggest house possible. That don't make no sense to me. That to yourself. So a lot of my family members have a couple of houses from each duty station. And it's one of the best ways to make a great retirement. So did you guys have any questions tonight before we jump off here? I just wanted to make sure we covered a lot of things. Do you have any economy questions and why millionaires are still being made every day? Definitely throw them below. And I see some of y'all on here. Alan Jackson, Tim Fraser. Or he used to be in Hawaii, but I lived it. Okay, loved it. Okay. Hey Linda, hey Alan, hey Jackie, hey Big J Rebel. Okay, Big J Rebel, what name of which app? So we have a couple. Robinhood app. The Digit app is what a lot of my clients I recommend uses a Digit app because it just they can do better numbers. I'm just gonna say it that way. They can kind of say, I only want $2 coming out a day, and then on paydays I want this amount coming out, right? Because Digit app is kind of feeling how you spend. Right? Every time you swipe your card, it kind of adjusts that you spend X amount of dollars a day. Let's say you spend $20 every day. So a Digit app may take $2 out every day. Just doing 10%, right? Just taking a small amount, unless you tell it to do otherwise. Acorn app is every time you swipe your card, the excess change rolls over. What happened back in the day when you used to have cash in your pocket? You have change jars all over your house. And you take that change every once in a while, like to Coinstar and other places. Now, because everybody uses their debit cards all the time, maybe you don't have change jars, but also many people spend all the way to the limit. They got 50 cents left in there, they're gonna get their 50 cents. I mean, it's just like, it gets a little crazy. So I don't see any questions coming in from you guys. So